Hey, it's Chef Chris Luckey. Welcome, man. It's nice to have you along. And of course, it's time for another edition of Cooking Fun with Chef Chris. Tonight, we do have some fun. I'll tell you why, because we're going to get into it. Yeah. I want to thank my friend Ed Fryer. He wanted me to do another video. I hadn't done one in a little while. So tonight, we're going to have fun. As most of you know, I do love Italian food. And tonight, we are going to make some Italian food. Tonight, we're doing authentic Italian style meatballs. And we're going to stuff them with a little mozzarella too. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get right into getting our ingredients. I got most of everything laid out for us, but we're going to chop our onion and we're going to translucent those in some nice olive oil. And then of course we will then infuse that all together with our meats, and we'll get into that coming up here in just a few minutes. Okay, time to chop our onion here. And what we're looking for is, in this particular cut, is we're looking for a not quite minced. I don't want a minced. I want a maybe a small diced. Some people, especially in Italy, will do them a thin slice, but we're going to do them we'll see when we get there. I want to do maybe about a medium to a smaller dice, and I'll show you why here in just a second. I just think, honestly, I just think that they go into the mixture of the meatball a little better. We have some cool things coming your way. It'll happen a little bit later on, but what we're looking to do a little bit later is bring you a different studio. A little bit later. We'll give you more on that a little bit later on. So now what we're going to do is we'll take this. I want, like I said, about a small to a medium diced. Be careful when you're cutting your onions this way. I don't want you to chop your finger off, because you can if you're not careful. You got to be real careful going in this way, okay? You go into your side. Chop down, and now we're ready to dice. Okay, pretty good. It's a little bit bigger than where I'm going, but we'll chop them down a little bit more. Always got a little bit of fear in me when I mess with onions or anything like that, or garlic. We've got small Yorkies running around, as you know. Those of you who've been following. And one thing you don't want is your dog to get into is anything in the onion family. Nothing at all. The onion will starve their blood cells of oxygen, and it can kill them. So you don't want that going on. So a little bit little. Let me show you. I don't want it too large, but let me show you what I'm talking about. See that? See, it's not too bad. It's not too large, not too small. Perfect for being able to mash right in there into the ingredients to make it a nice round ball. But we're going to translucent these anyway, so to make them a little softer. Again. A little bit more. And as you can see, when you chop your onion that way, for those of you that have not done that, you still get a consistent cut pretty much all the way through. That's the fresh, that's the new. So, all in all, get a nice cut on your onions and they become translucent and cook evenly all the way through your pan. Okay, got our pan. We're gonna get that heated up, and we're gonna heat it up to just above a medium heat. I want it to get a nice, good start, and then we'll turn it back a little bit if need be. But we're just looking for translucent. We're not looking to make these caramelized or anything like that. So the first thing we're going to do is put a little oil in our pan. A little olive oil, extra virgin. All right, oil looking good. Down in here. And we'll put in a little bit of minced garlic in there. Normally, I do my own cloves, but for time purposes tonight, just add a little minced garlic that comes in a jar, which is fine. And this won't take long. You start to smell that garlic coming through, real nice. Some people will tell you at that point, you want to go ahead and pull it. I think it's to each individual's preference on that, because I just put them in, they're not translucent, and I can already smell the garlic. So I think what they're talking about there mainly is if you chop it up yourself and mince it yourself, which I do a lot. And if you've ever seen my videos before, then you know that. All right, a little bit more. Ah, looking good. Smelling good too. Okay, I've turned our heat off. And those are looking really nice as far as translucent. We don't want to overcook them, and we don't want them burnt by any stretch of the imagination. Translucent is very soft, which they are getting very soft. They're not complete, but they're coming to it. And that's just before translucent is when I like to pull them, only because they're going to cook in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, so they're going to get translucent anyway and cook all the way through within the meatball itself, okay? So, I take that, bring our bowl over, and then I want to show you what we have for our ingredients in our meatballs, okay? The first thing that we have is we have Italian style breadcrumbs. You can use Italian panko, whatever you want to use. I got a full cup of milk. Now your milk, the fine thing about the milk is you're going to do half and half. We're going to do half initially when we add the ingredients, and then we'll do the other half on the backside when we put the meat in, okay? Over here, we got parsley, I've got basil, and I have a little bit of salt and pepper. We've already used that, of course, our minced garlic. And I've got 3 eggs, okay? We have about 2 teaspoons to 3 teaspoons of parsley. So we got 2 in here in basil and 3 in here in the parsley. I've got 2 in here. We may use that as pinch as far as the salt and pepper, freshly ground pepper is concerned. And the reason why I say that is you want to do that to taste. We're going to take our onions off the fire. Oh, real quick, I didn't show you this. I got 1 cup of pecorino and Reggiano cheese, and that is all grated real fine, okay? And I did that fresh. That particular cheese is straight from Italy, and man, I'm telling you, you can't beat it as far as taste. The flavor is phenomenal. You can get it in just about any supermarket, Kroger, Publix. I don't know about Walmart. I'm not a fan of going to their store for ingredients, especially cheeses and things of that nature. I do like the selection of cheeses that Kroger has. Really nice, actually. Okay, so we got our hot onions in there over the cheese, so that may melt a little bit, which is okay. You're going to get a little bit of that, but everything else right into the swimming pool. There goes the basil, a little bit of parsley. We're going to pinch and 2 pinch on your salt and pepper. And then we are going to go here and do a half of the milk in the breadcrumbs, half. And then we're going to take our eggs and put them right in top of the breadcrumbs and the milk, the half cup of milk that we just put in. Careful you don't get any shells. Nothing worse than that for your customer, right? Or for your family for that matter. It has to be one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to cooking with eggs. Take our spoon here. I'm going to chop up our eggs and we'll start folding that in. Get that going. Okay. Now, let me show you what this is going to look like. It's going to look like a little slop. Okay? When you first start. Now, I'm going to add in the rest of our dry over here. We'll start folding that in. Now, there is one thing that I can tell you that will go really nice with this dish. And you will find some of it in an authentic mixture for meatballs, and sometimes you will not. Okay, so, but for me, oh, that aroma, it's calling for me. It's calling. You know what I gotta have in here, right? Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to put a lot, just a little bit over the top. And you don't want a lot because you don't want to saturate this dish to where you can't mix in your meat. Got a couple of different meats for you. The first one we're going to do is what I have done is I've grabbed some Italian sweet sausage. And we're going to take the casing off of it. And then we got the other one. Definitely want to get the casing off. Just want what's left. And there's variations on what you can use. You don't have to use half and half. Some people like to use veal. Veal is very authentic Italian, along with the rest of your meats. But tonight, I don't have any veal. And it's been snowing in Nashville, as most of you know. And we didn't get out to the store. So tonight we use about 1.5 pounds of hamburger. 80-20 is fine. Put all that in there. We'll take our sausage and we'll put it in. Just kind of tear it up and put it in sections so it doesn't go all in the same place. So what I've got is I've got a 1/2 pound, actually a 1/4 pound of sausage, and I have about 1.5 pounds of 80-20 ground beef. Use ground chuck, whatever you want to use. But we're going to start folding that in with the ingredients and get it all in there and get it started. Now, what you're going to notice right off the bat is that beautiful slop that we made a little bit ago is now all gone. Okay, so it gets pretty dry, which is fine. That's what you're looking for. And then got the extra half of your milk. So I'll pour that over the top. And we're going to start folding that in. And get this all incorporated. You want the meat to have every bit of the ingredients throughout it. And you can start folding like this, but if you're like me, I like to make sure. So I'll start it this way. And then, so I don't have to get too goopy a little later on, we'll get the hands in there. Take the ring off. Pour that, put that in there. Just incorporate this real good. So we're going to make some nice meatballs out of it. And what I've done there is I've got a full sheet pan. And I've taken some parchment paper and I sprayed down the pan with my spray oil, which is olive oil. Then I put my parchment paper down so it would hold. And then I put more of that oil on top of so that everything will not stick and come out just fine, okay? So, here's what we're gonna do. We'll let this set for just a second. You don't want it too long, but I want this to incorporate a little bit with each other. Marry, if you will. And then we'll start our meatballs. That's next. Hey, welcome back. Okay, let me show you what we've done here. We've got our mozzarella, or mozzarella. There you go. So there your mozzarella is right here. And I've pinched that off. It's all fresh. Here's our mixture ingredients that we talked about and we did a little bit earlier. And we're gonna make our meatballs, put our mozzarella inside, put them on this sheet pan right here that I told you about that I've prepped, and we'll pop them in the oven for 400 degrees, and we'll let that happen for 20 minutes, okay? So, I'm gonna dig in with our hands. We'll roll them up. See that? We're gonna poke a hole in it. Take our mozzarella, push that down in there. And we're just gonna kind of close it up. Put it in. And I want to put the whole side down, okay? I've not done mozzarella inside of them before. This is something that I want to try and that I've seen before. So I'm going to probably face a few of them on the upside just to see how that comes out. Now remember, these are going to be a little tacky, which is fine. You don't want them falling apart, but you want them definitely to stick together, obviously. But you don't want them so saturated that they're soggy. Okay, so actually when you get the bowl, looks like that. It's good. Okay, next one. And I'll show you how far these are on the pan here in just a second. I'll get a few of them started here. Put down in the middle. And you're looking for about 3 across. And they're actually pretty good sized meatballs. Check it out. Aha, see? So we'll go ahead, get these all done, finish our pan. We'll be ready to pop them in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And then we'll see exactly what they come out to be. But I'm looking forward to it because tonight they're going to go into a delicious dish. We're going to make spaghetti and meatballs. All right, we're back. Check it out. Oh yeah. And had a little extra, so we did a little more. Nice thing about it is, doesn't make any difference. 400 is 400. So we're going to pop these in the oven, 400 degrees on convection, and we're going to let them cook for 20 minutes. Some recipes call for you to turn them in the about the end term. You can do that if you wish. I think for our sake, we're going to let them cook all the way through. We're not going to disturb them. We'll let them go 20 minutes. We'll check the biggest one, make sure it's cooked all the way through. If not, we'll pop it back in the oven for about another 2 minutes or so and check them again. But I think for the most part, we're going to be just right. All right, we're all set. See you in about 20 with some absolutely delicious and delightful, authentic Italian meatballs. While our meatballs are in the oven, we're gonna make our sauce. Here we go. I got a shallot here. I'm gonna chop that up thin. One piece I got a little bit too heavy. There we go. And a little bit more that was on the side of that particular shallot. Now, chop that up. Kind of coarse. There's no right way, no wrong way there. Just make sure you got it cut down. Put that over here. And smash our garlic. That way we can peel it easier. Take that off there. These dishes, I love putting them together for y'all. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy cooking. As most of you know, I just recently graduated my culinary arts classes, and I'm done. I'm done with those. I'm glad to be done with them. But man, I tell you what, a ride! That was so much fun. It really was. Augustia Scaffier, you know, I have seen the comments that happen anytime they post. You know, to each his own, but I got to tell you, their online program, it's superb. It's no wonder that they're one of the top 10 culinary arts schools in the country. They have 2 campuses, one in Boulder, Colorado, and one in Texas, in Austin. And the online, I did it right from here. And my gosh, are they good at what they do. They make sure that you're on point. And if you don't believe me, you can talk to the folks down at Omni Nashville Hotel in the kitchen and ask them what kind of a chef I was when I was interning there. That's proof in the pudding, and I got to tell you, it was just a delight to do. We're going to take our garlic, we're going to mince it. I don't want it real super minced, but I do want it minced down a little bit, because what happens is right here on the board you lose a little bit of your garlic and your oils, and you don't want to lose all of them. You just chop them down. Some people don't like to get a big piece of garlic when they're taking a bite. So for those folks, cut it down pretty good. Okay, so there's that. Pan's oiling up. That ready? Smoke it there. Just turn it back a little bit. I have my pasta on, so we're ahead of the game here and ready to go here for a long. Got about 9 minutes or so on our meatballs. All I'm looking to do here is I just want to get these going and get them started. Maybe translucent, pretty much is what I'm looking for here as far as these onions and the garlic goes. If it gets a little bit too hot, what you can do is, and I'm going to, you just take a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc, put that in there to cool the pan down and give you a little flavor. And as that alcohol cooks off there, it'll help steam those onions, get them translucent real good. And of course, it'll merge the two and marry that garlic right in with it and those shallots. Okay. Looking good. Okay. One of the things I like to do, wet or dry, I should say fresh or dry in this case, is at this point, I like to take, I'm going to put a little butter in here, just a little bit. I don't want a ton, but just a little. About a half teaspoon, or tablespoon, excuse me. About a half tablespoon. Stir that in, get it going, get you a little bit on the bottom there. Now we're going to put in our herbs and spices. And of course, not really too much on the spice side other than, of course, our garlic and our onions. And we do use crushed, fire roasted tomatoes in the dish. Okay, so oregano first. And there's 2 teaspoons there. Teaspoon and a half of thyme. 1 teaspoon of basil. For those of you that like your basil, pump it in there. Go ahead, get you another one or so. Stir this in. Make sure you get all of the oils from the fat incorporated in with that. And that'll dry up the bottom of your pan pretty good. We call that in the business al suck. And I always said thank you. I appreciate that. So, okay, now we're done with that. Now, what this is going to do is it roasted that a little bit and bringing those oils back out of those spices and herbs. And when we dry up all that butter, we're going to release it now with this. Got a 28-ounce can of tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, fire roasted, organic. I love those. They're fantastic. You can find excellent tomatoes here in the States. You can also pay more and get the authentics from Italy, which is fine if you want. I've had them both. I'll be honest with you, I can't really tell the difference between the two. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken this sauce up a little bit. And we're going to do that with some tomato paste. Take a whole 6-ounce can and put that in there. Bring a little more flavor into it and thicken it up a little. Back our heat off just a little bit and go back down to medium. Okay. Get this whisk here. Let me show you this thing. I saw this on Facebook, and I always check companies out before I buy anything. Have you ever seen these? These are freaking awesome. I love them. You just push down, and it's like old school, but it has a whisk feel to it instead of like a blender feel. But you're getting kind of the same effect. And quite honestly, it incorporates the ingredients really nicely. You wouldn't want to use that on a dough or anything like that, obviously. You don't want to, especially biscuits, you don't want to incorporate too much of your ingredients. You want those a little loose. And then stir it out a little bit, and that's done. And what we're going to do now is I am going to let this come together, marinate, if you will. I'm going to take our pasta off and get that ready to go. We have about 4 minutes on our meatballs. This dish is coming together really nice. And then what we're going to do next after that, I'm going to add one more ingredient. You know what? Heck with it. We'll do it right now. Take the acid out of your tomatoes. If you like to do that, you need a pinch, and I mean a pinch. No more than that. A little bit of sugar, and that'll do it for you. Okay? We're going to let that simmer for the remainder of our time of our meatballs and getting those prepped and ready to go in plate. And we'll be right back and ready to plate our first spaghetti and meatballs tonight on Cooking Fun with Chef Chris. I love these things, man. Wife got them for me, and they're Skeletor, yes. However, man, are they nice. Got all use of your fingers and, of course, nice pat. Time is just about up. We have a little bit of Parmesan. We're going to fresh grate that on top of our dish tonight. Let's look and see what we're at. Let's look down in here. Woohoo! Ah! Don't you love that steam? All right. We're going to pull this out. Oh, look at this. Look at those. Let me get another glove. Look at these. Toasted on top. Look at the cheese coming out of the top of them. Oh my, that mozz is going to be so beautiful in there. So, there's that. And let's check our ones that we had on top. Now, I will tell you, it gets a little warm up in the top of the oven sometimes. And they got a little more done, obviously. So if you like a little bit more done, you can do it that way. I don't know that I do, but some do. We're going to check the inside of one of our biggest ones and make sure that it's cooked all the way through, okay? There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can take the biggest one and cut down into it, test it, see if it's okay. I'll do that right now. We'll grab this one here. Looks good. Oh, there's no doubt. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That goodness is all the way through, moist all the way through with that mozz in there. And man, I'm telling you, that's fantastic. Put that on a plate. And we'll turn that down like this. Okay. Take a couple of meatballs on there. We'll put one over here. Grab a little bit of sauce. Look at this. Oh, look at that. Just a little bit more. Yeah. You know, there's going to be a point in time when you're going to Americanize it a little bit, right? And now we're going to grab our fresh grater here for cheese, and put some fresh Parmesan on top. And that, my friends, is a delicious dish. Authentic Italian meatballs, and of course, spaghetti and meatballs for dinner tonight. Hope you had a great time tonight. Remember, if you are cooking for somebody else, do it with love. Also, remember, tell your friends about me. Make sure you go out and do a little bit of a subscribe to the channel and a like. And we'd love to hear from you. Just give me an email at luckyescoffier@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to answer you or send you back the recipe. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Have a great night.